Thank you so much for joining. Let's start today in a seated position of your choice. If you're coming down onto the ground, maybe you're using a block or a pillow under your hips. You can sit crisscross applesauce or extend the legs out long. You can even bring a bend into the knees and let your arms rest on the knees. If you're seated in a chair, allow your back to come up against the back of the chair. Straightening up on your inhale. Allow your shoulders to begin to relax on your exhale. Your hands resting gently. I invite you to close your eyes, or maybe you simply soften your gaze as you allow yourself to find your most easeful position. Maybe taking a moment to make any movement, to wiggle, to settle in. And then begin to sense the surfaces underneath you, no matter what position you're in. What is supporting you at your feet, the back of your thighs, your glutes, maybe the back of your trunk, the back of your arms or head. See if you can begin to sense where those connections are being made with the surfaces underneath you. Maybe noticing the more prominent parts where pressure is the strongest. And then begin to sense where the body is in space. The side body, the space between your arms and your torso, space between your knees or your ankles, space between your ears and your shoulders. Can you even notice the space in your mouth and around your tongue? And for a brief moment, can you notice the overall state of your thoughts? You don't need to push them down or resist them. Sometimes when we do, it makes them stronger. What we resist persists. So breathe here as you watch your thoughts. Maybe there are emotions, or maybe stories going on. Smile at them, knowing that they are there. And if you do find one that's really taking you away, you can gently acknowledge and celebrate the fact that you notice the mind wandering. And then simply come back without judgment. Come back to the body. Come back to the breath. Allowing yourself to notice the physical sensations. Noticing the surfaces beneath you and the space around you. Part of the self-compassion piece during our time here So whenever you notice your mind not present, smile, celebrate that you noticed instead of any self-critical thoughts. Smile and celebrate that you notice, and then begin again. And come back into the body. Noticing our breath. We'll begin to take our breathing exercise for today. Ocean breath, or Darth Vader breath. This breath we breathe through the nose on our inhale. We constrict the back of the throat as we breathe through the nose on our exhale. Slightly audible sound. And if we held up a mirror at our exhale, we fog up that mirror with the hot air we're blowing out our nose. And if for some reason you're feeling congested and breathing this way doesn't feel comfortable, allow the lips to gently part and try to find an audible exhale. We'll take just a few more rounds of this ocean breath, helping us to build a little bit of heat while relaxing the body and mind. And then releasing that breath if you haven't already. Allowing yourself to find your natural flow, whether it's high in the torso or deep in the abdomen. Take a moment to notice the flow of your breath. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt, containing a tornado, or damming a stream, and it will create a new channel. Resist, and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow, and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in. The wild with the weak, fear, fantasies, failures and successes. When loss rips off the doors of the heart, or sadness veils your vision with despair, the practice becomes simply bearing your truths in the choice to let go of all of your known way of being. The whole world is revealed to your new eyes. Dana Falls. Allow. We'll take one more breath here to offer ourselves gratitude that we took time out of our day to be here in movement. Find a moment of allowing. We come back to our breath without judging. Wonderful job. Now, we're gonna come into a position where we open our eyes, we start to wiggle our fingers and toes, adding a little bit of movement. For our seated on the floor, let's come over into a child's pose, taking the knees wide, stretching the arms out as we begin to drop the forehead, maybe towards the floor, maybe towards a prop like a pillow or a block as you settle in there for just a breath. And if you're seated in your chair, we're going to scoot to the edge of our chair so that we're coming out. We're going to open our legs just a little bit wider than hip distance. And then with an inhale, stretch and reach those arms up. And with your exhale, begin to hinge, bringing your hands to your knees or maybe walking them down towards your toes. Go ahead and tuck your chin towards your chest if that feels good. And whether you're on the mat or in the chair, take a moment to begin to rock through the neck, finding movement, maybe a massage of the forehead. A great option is if you're seated in the chair to bring your hands and fingers interlaced and let your forehead rest on your fingers. Also giving yourself that same forehead massage. We take just a few breaths here. Know that throughout our practice today, that ocean breath or Darth Vader breath can be a great focus, whether it's while we're building heat or cooling down. It offers a lot of benefits. So whenever you find yourself remembering, maybe bringing your breath back to that ocean breath. All right, we'll take one last movement here through the forehead. We'll find a little bit of stillness in the neck. And then with our inhale, we'll come into a tabletop on the ground and coming back into your seated mountain on the chair, bringing your knees back in alignment. Here on the ground, we want our hands under our shoulders, our knees under our hips, and a straight spine from the top of our head all the way down to our hips. And from this, we'll start to take a couple of cat-cows, dropping our belly, opening up through the torso, lifting the chin, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then as we exhale, round the spine back, tuck chin to chest and round your shoulders towards your ears. Take this at your own pace, finding any movement along the way that feels good for you, matching your breath to your movement, allowing whatever feels good to make you want to move to do it. Beautiful job. All right, we'll find a little bit of stillness either in tabletop or seated mountain. And then with our next inhale, let's take our right hand and begin to extend it alongside the ear, whether on the ground or seated in the chair. And then we're going to take that opposite leg, that left leg, and send it out in the opposite direction. So we're taking a spinal balance here. You can lift those toes off the floor a little bit, or you can keep them touching, or you can maybe lift them up to hip height. And you can use a strap here if you're seated in the chair, if that would feel better for you. Reaching fingers and toes in opposite direction. Being careful if you're on the mat, not to dip your hips towards the ground, but really keeping the core engaged so that you're keeping it straight and steady here. Shoulders parallel, hips parallel. Beautiful job. With our next exhale, I want us to bring our elbow and knee towards each other in front of our body, rounding through the spine. And then inhale to extend it long. Take it at your pace for about 3, maybe 5 rounds of breath. Inhaling, curling, exhaling, extending, finding this movement on your own. Great job. Last breath here. And then go ahead and set back into your tabletop or a seated mountain. And let's take that on the other side. Extending the left arm alongside the ear, beginning to extend the right foot and then point the toes away. maybe using a strap here for a little added comfort. You're doing great. Next breath, start to find that elbow to knee rounding through the spine. Moving at your own pace, starting to find that flow, allowing your body to move in the ways it wants to move, giving it grace and self-compassion. Last breath, extend, exhale to release. Alrighty, if you're on your hands and knees, go ahead and come up to standing on your knees. You're always welcome to add just a little bit of cushioning as well. If you're seated in the chair, we'll scoot over just a little bit towards the right, and then we're gonna all extend our right leg out long, coming into a gate pose. And if you're seated in the chair, maybe take your left leg just a little bit more over to the left as a counterbalance. Great job. We'll all inhale, start to let the arms float up by the ears. And then with an exhale, let's take our right hand to our right hip and then begin to extend it down that right leg, taking the left arm up and over, stretching through the left side of the body and being sure to circle the left shoulder back before sending it over. And if that feels too intense through the shoulder, you can bring your hand to your hip or even hold on to your chair for a little added balance. Great job. Inhale to come through center, both arms float up. And then with an exhale, we're going to circle the hands, begin to hinge from the hips. If you're on the floor, the hands come down like in a tabletop and then sinking it back into a child's pose. And if you're seated in the chair, you're gonna also hinge and start to come forward. Your hands can rest on your legs. If you have another prop like a block, you could always bring that under your hands as well. Really getting that stretch through that extended right leg, no matter which position you're in. Beautiful job. Inhale to bring your body back up to a straight spine. And then let's walk that right leg in. We'll take our gait on the opposite side, scooting over to the left if you're on the chair, sending that left leg out long, sole of the foot maybe coming to the flat onto the earth, walking that right knee to the side if you're in the chair. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, left hand to left hip, and then begin to hinge over towards the left, keeping that right shoulder pulled back before you extend over. Hand can stay at your hip or maybe begin to walk down the leg a little or a lot. Great job. Inhale to come back through center. And then from your tabletop, if you're on the floor, we're gonna walk our hands one palm print forward, tuck the toes, lift the knees, and come up into a downward dog, taking a moment to pedal through the legs and shift the weight. Really settle in there. If you're seated in the chair, I'm gonna ask you to trust me for just a minute. Stay seated in the chair as we're gonna take a few poses. I'm gonna guide you from a seated position while the others are in downward dog. All right, we'll take one last breath in whichever one we're in, seated mountain or downward dog. And then look back towards your feet if you're in downward dog. Begin to walk your hands back towards your feet, coming into a forward fold. And maybe bringing a prop under your hands. If you're seated in your chair, we'll also inhale, lift our arms up and overhead. And then exhale, take a hinge into a forward fold. Your legs can be in line with the hips or can be a little bit wider if that feels good for you. So now we're all in a forward fold, either from a seated or a standing position. With our next inhale, we're going to press into our hands, lifting halfway, like figure 7, gaze stays down. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold, maybe sinking a little bit deeper. You're standing, maybe playing with the bend or the straightening of your legs. Inhale, press into your hands, halfway lift. Straighten out through your spine. Engage your core. Exhale, hinge and forward fold, sinking it a little bit deeper. Press into your hands, inhale, halfway lift, figure 7. Holding here for just a breath. Exhale, hinge and fold. From a standing position, bend and come through the knees. We'll all inhale, circling arms up and overhead, either in seated or standing mountain. We'll pause here for just a moment, reaching the hands up, and then maybe take the gaze up in between the hands. Maybe even take those hands back behind the head, let the gaze follow, coming into a back bend. Great job. Inhale, bring the gaze back to the horizon. And then with our next exhale, we're going to windmill the arms right to left as we twist at the hips towards the right. Beautiful job. Inhale to come back through center, arms reach up. Exhale, twist it to the left. Inhale back through center. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, circle the hands down by the hips. If you're seated in the chair, we're pressing into the chair. We're lifting through the heart, lifting the chin, lifting the gaze. We're standing, maybe we're interlacing hands, grabbing opposite wrist, opposite elbows, grabbing our shirt or even a strap, but we're drawing the knuckles down. Beautiful job. Feel that opening through the heart. Maybe lift the chin, maybe lift the gaze. Take one more breath here. And then with our exhale, begin to find a forward fold. You're seated in the chair. Go ahead and slide your hands forward onto your knees as you come into that seated child's pose. You're taking the standing version. Maybe the hands stay on the hips. Maybe they come off for a nice stretch through the shoulders for just one breath here. And then with our next exhale, we're going to release the hands to the hips if we lifted them. And then we're going to all take our hands out wide to a figure T. Palms face down. We're engaging through our core, whether we're seated or standing. Beautiful job. With our next inhale, go ahead and push those hands back into an airplane arms. Palms still face down, pinkies and shoulder blades squeeze together, hands by the hips. Beautiful job. With our next inhale, bring those hands to your heart in a prayer pose. You can keep them just firmly pressed together or interlace the fingers if you'd like. But begin to exhale and extend your hands and arms out from the top of your head. Again, still engaging through your core. Beautiful job. Exhale to release your arms to a T. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, bring hands through your heart. Beautiful job. All right, we're still going to do just a few more seated poses before we come up to standing. If you're taking standing poses, we'll inhale up. Exhale, hands come down. And then step back into a low lunge with the right leg, bringing the left knee forward. Feel free to add a little cushion. You're taking our chair poses at this point. We're going to take a grounded lunge here as well. So we're going to bring our right thigh to be supported by the chair. And we're going to step our left foot back. Again, whether we're on the ground or in our chair, that back knee is bent deeply. That front knee is bent deeply. Your hips are turned forward. And then maybe start to explore what it might feel like to let one or both hands circle overhead in crescent lunge pose. The next inhale, maybe take it into a back bend. Great job. Exhale to bring it down through a prayer. And then let's go ahead and switch sides. So if you're seated in the chair, we're going to switch over to the left. And if you're on the floor, come through a tabletop and then bring the right leg forward, keeping that left knee back. With our inhale, we come up to a straight spine. And then squeezing our thighs together, engaging our core. Maybe we'll let the arms float up by the ears. Maybe we take it into a back bend. Great job. Bring your gaze back through the horizon. Exhale to release. Either coming into a tabletop or your seated mountain. And then from here, let's come back into a downward dog if you're on the mat. And if we're seated in the chair, we're going to join us in some standing poses. So finding your variation of downward dog, whether it's on a wall or your chair securely against a surface at whatever height feels good for you. We'll all come into our downward dog and we'll take just a few moments to pedal through the legs. Let the head start to dip between the shoulders and the arms. Keeping that straight spine. And then settle into a little bit of stillness. With our next inhale, let's start to shift the weight to the left foot and send the right toes back behind us. Now you can keep them just barely on the ground. You can lift them off the ground. You can even extend that foot as high as feels good for you today into a three-legged dog. Pointing the toes away from you. Let's point and flex the toes just a couple of times. Great job. All right, similar to our spinal balance, on our next inhale, we're going to curl that knee up towards our nose. Inhale, send it long. Exhale, round it in. Exhale, send it out long. One more time, bring it in. Exhale, send it out long. And now start to bend that lifted knee and then shift your weight so that your hips are stacked and open. And you're looking out under your arm. Beautiful job. Bring it back through down, three-legged dog, downward dog. Feel free to pedal through the legs, make any shifts or adjustments. And then when you're ready, join me on the other side, three-legged dog. Point and flex the toes. And then inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, send it back. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, send it back. Inhale, knee to nose. Send it back. Bend the knee, open the hip. Great job. Inhale to bring it back. Three-legged dog. Downward dog. Beautiful job. Look up between your hands and walk your feet towards your hands, coming into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, tall mountain, reach it all the way up. Exhale, we're going to twist from the hips towards the right as we pinwheel the arms forward and back. Inhale through center. Exhale to the opposite direction. Inhale through center. Cactus the arms. Beautiful job. Inhale through center. Exhale, release your hands to your lower back. You took the bind before, go ahead and take the opposite grip this time. We'll inhale to lift the heart, lift the chin. Beautiful job. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Hands can stay at the hips or lift. Exhale to release hands to the hips and then down to your prop, legs or floor. Beautiful job. All right, we're gonna start to engage through the core just a little bit. So as we inhale, halfway lift. And then you're always welcome to keep one hand down on your prop if you'd like, or send one or both hands out wide into that T position. Our next exhale, I want us to drop our right hand towards our prop or the floor and lift our left hand out to the side and up, twisting like a propeller. Exhale through center into the other direction, keeping the arms long and extended. Inhale back through center, arms to a T. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale to a prayer, hands clasped. Exhale, extend the arms long. Always welcome to rest them on your prop for a little support. Beautiful job. Engage through your core. One last breath here. Exhale, release into your forward fold. Bend the knees, roll it up. Tall mountain. Or just mountain, sorry. Alrighty, in our mountain pose, we're gonna go ahead and step our right foot back into a high lunge this time. Still bending through both knees, but keeping the back one lifted if that feels okay in your body today. We're squeezing through the thighs, we're engaging through our core. Maybe we let those arms float up and overhead. You're also welcome to maybe take it into a back bend. Beautiful job. Come back through center. With our next exhale, I want us to twist towards that front leg, taking the arms out wide as you do. Great job. Just incorporating a couple of those moves together. Inhale, come back through center. We'll straighten through that front leg, and with an exhale, let's take it into a pyramid pose. Hands can come on either side of that front leg as you hinge and forward fold. You're welcome to keep the leg straight or even out of bend. You're feeling it in the ligament of the knee. Great job. With our next inhale, we'll come back through our crescent lunge. And then we're going to spiral that back heel down to open up into a warrior two here. Find a little bit of a flow here in our peak of our flow. Let's take the hand to the back leg or hip as we reverse our warrior. Inhale through warrior two. Coming into side angle, your hand or elbow can rest on your knee or the props as you circle that back hand overhead. Inhale to come back into your warrior two. We're going to take that back hand, we're going to very gently swing it out to the side and then towards the other arm. Once they meet, we're going to take an archer arm, slowly pulling it across our torso and back behind us to open it up. Take it at your speed for 2 more cycles. Allowing yourself to really feel the movement through your hips and shoulders as you do. Matching your breath to your movement. Beautiful job. All right. After the last one, inhale, crescent lunge, lift that back heel, turn your hips, step it up. Great job. Let's take that on side two. Step back, crescent lunge. Exhale, maybe take it into a back bend. Inhale, bring it back through crescent. Exhale, twist towards the front leg, arms open wide. Are you are you feeling the flow? Inhale through crescent. Straighten the front leg, hinge, pyramid. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, opening into warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, arch your arms. Take it for 3 cycles of breath. Inhale, crescent, lifting that back heel, turning the hips. Step it in, mountain pose. Beautiful job. Take any movement that you feel like your body needs. And then we're gonna take it out wide, a little wider than hip distance. We'll start with the toes out and the heels in. And as we inhale, we're gonna take it into 5-pointed star. As we exhale, we're gonna stay here, really allowing ourselves to feel this movement, taking up as much space as we can. All right, are you ready for a little bit added? Our next exhale, we're gonna come into goddess squat. We're gonna bend into the knees. We're gonna cactus the elbows. Take it in a little bit deeper. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Our next exhale will be sun god. So we'll bend through the knees. The arms come down in that T position. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, moon god. Knees bend, elbows come in by the sides, like cactus, but deeper. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Go ahead and take the heels in line with the toes. And then with our next exhale, the hands come to a T as you begin to hinge into your forward fold. Allow your head to dangle towards the floor, hands resting on any prop or your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Arms come out wide to a T. Exhale, right hand spirals down. Left hand spirals up. Exhale, arms stay straight as you spiral in the opposite direction. Inhale to come back through center. Arms open wide. Inhale, 5-pointed star. All right, we've been here before. You know where we're going. Go ahead and bring the heels back in and the toes out. Feel free to make any adjustments if you settled. Exhale, goddess squat. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, sun god. Inhale, 5-pointed. Moon god. Inhale, 5-pointed. Exhale, release hands to hips. Step it back into your mountain pose. We're going to take one balance challenge before we come into our cool down practice. So if we're going to come into an inhale, exhale, hinge and forward fold. Hands can rest on a high prop or low prop, wherever you're at. We're going to shift our weight over to the right leg. Begin to lift the left toes. As always, you can keep one toe on the ground, or maybe lift them a little bit, or maybe lift it a lot. You can take it all the way into standing splits if you'd like. Really reaching that leg out behind you in some fashion or another. With our next inhale, we're going to take a shrimp squat, taking that extended leg, tucking it behind the opposite knee, and then curling into as much of a little ball as you can. And then inhale, extend back out. standing splits, or grounded warrior 3. Take this at your own pace for about 3 cycles of breath. Again, finding a spot on the floor that's not moving can really help with balance. Great job. Last time. Extend it out long. Come back into your forward fold. Feet in the mountain. Shift your weight to the opposite side. Send the right toes back. Finding your warrior 3 or standing splits of your choice. And then inhale, shrimp squat. Exhale, extend it out long. Inhale, bring it in. We'll take this at your own pace a couple of times. You're doing great. Extend it out long. Exhale, forward fold, feet come next to each other. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chair pose. Sink the hips, lift the torso up. And bring your hands out in front of you for a counterbalance. You're taking chair poses, you're welcome to come and hover over your chair. Exhale, twist it towards the right, taking the left. Right hand behind you. Exhale through center. Twist it to the left. Exhale through center. And then you're seated in the chair. Go ahead and come on down into the chair. You're coming down onto the floor. Go ahead and come down to a seat on the floor. We're going to take our legs wide here into a wide-legged position. You can always keep a gentle bend in your knees, maybe even adding props under them for support if you'd like. Or you can press out through those heels, straightening out through the legs. With our next inhale, let the arms begin to circle up. We'll turn towards our right leg, and at an exhale, extend down over that leg. Forward folding towards the right leg. Being mindful not to fall out of your chair. Great job. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale, turn towards the left, extend down. Inhale through center. Exhale, we're going to come straight down the middle this time, either hands on the floor or maybe on a prop. If you're in the chair, maybe your hands are on your legs for support. And we're hinging into a forward fold, walking those hands as far out as we can. Inhale to walk your hands back towards your hips, come back up to a straight spine. And then if we're on the ground, we're going to roll onto our backs. We're seated in our chair. We're going to come into a seated mountain pose. And then let's bring maybe a prop behind us if we like to use a prop behind us, but we're going to bring our shoulders back and our hips forward. So we're all reclined either on the floor or in our chair. And let's go ahead and let the knees start to fall a little left to right in a windshield wiper. Rolling through the hips. And the next time the knees are over to the right, go ahead and pause there. You're welcome to add any props here, or take a bind, stack or stagger the legs, whatever feels good here.
Maybe the gaze comes to the center point, maybe it crosses over to the other side. Maybe you simply close your eyes, allowing yourself to rest here, noticing the breath, noticing the support of the body. You did a wonderful job today. Allow yourself to rest here for just a moment more. We'll inhale to bring our knees through center. Exhale over to the opposite side, adding any props, spines, stacking or staggering of the knees, crossing of the ankles, anything that feels good here. Take a few breaths on this side. Let's inhale to come back through center with the knees. And we'll end taking a reclined eagle pose. So we'll start by taking and crossing the left leg over the right leg, either at the knees or the ankles. We'll take the arms out wide to a T, and then we'll cross the right arm under the left arm, giving yourself a hug and walking the hands back the shoulders. Or maybe bringing the backs or the fronts of the hands or even the strap in between the hands. So wherever feels comfortable for you here. Feeling great. Notice those shoulder blades as they spread apart. Can you allow whatever shape your body is in to be the shape your body is in without judgment? Just simply being with your breath. Exhale to release and unwind. And then we'll cross the legs on the other side. Taking left arm under right. Crossing in the opposite direction. Taking our eagle pose. Reclined eagle pose on this side. Really allowing the straight spine by tucking your chin just slightly. Your exhale, unwind and untwist anything and everything. Feel free to take any movement your body needs. And meet me in your final resting pose, whether that's staying in your chair or finding someplace more comfortable in your space. You can always add pillows, blankets, blocks, a sweater, socks, anything that will make these last few moments a place where you can start to relax on command. As you settle in here, take a deep breath in, holding it at the top. Take in one more sip of air. And then as you're ready, intentionally start to transition inward. Maybe closing the eyes or simply softening the gaze. Inhaling slowly, exhaling fully. As you feel the support of any of the props you've chosen underneath of you. Breathing in, breathing out. See if you can empty out physical sensations, emotional, mental, spiritual. Let it all go so that you can truly dive inward. Take a moment to notice how you feel.
you're tense or clenching, resisting, and then intentionally let those muscles relax. Let them smooth out. As you allow yourself to surrender to these final moments together. There's a beauty in allowing. Even though we know life can't be forced, it is still something we subconsciously do. But we can learn that there's beauty and necessity in the simplicity of allowing, rather than trying to force or change things or ourselves. We find that we can attract others by simply being ourselves, going with the flow, allowing all the parts of us to be. Because when we allow ourselves to be who we really are, this is the most seductive trait of all. Flowers don't go out searching for bees. Instead, they blossom just as they are. And the bees come willingly to land on their brilliant and beautiful petals. It's the same with life. You allow yourself to be yourself. You allow life and love to find you. But you and others are also allowed to change. How often have you heard a friend say, "You're not yourself today," or "You've changed so much in your journey"? But do you know that these phrases are not bad, but rather signs that we are all human? A natural part of existence is change. In fact, change is the only constant in life. Our existence tends to create patterns that others see and even sometimes depend upon, and be let down by. But we break these patterns when we grow, when we evolve. But we can honor our changing selves and the changes in those around us. Let us remind those around us that there is always more to know and to love about us and them. Let us celebrate the one constant in life: change. So as we take these last few breaths together, feel who you are in this moment. As you breathe, know that you are changing. And remember that you are allowed, and others are allowed to change. Maybe pick a quality that you love about yourself and know that this quality is your sweetest nectar. Allow love find you. If you notice your mind wandering, smile, acknowledging that you notice. Come back to your breath. Come back to allowing. Beautiful job today. Take the deepest breath of our day so far, allowing the exhale to sink us even deeper into our seat or the ground beneath us. Seeing if there's anything else we can release into the mat. And then as you're ready, beginning to wiggle fingers and toes, fluttering the eyes open. And in your own time, in your own way, start to come up to an upright position facing me. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. I hope you have a great week ahead of you and that you're able to find some time to flow and allow. Thank you.